Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Hanida Kolangkag and I will be discussing Mcdonaldization. What is Mcdonaldization? Mcdonaldization is defined as the process by which the principles of the fast food restaurant are coming to dominate more and more sectors of American society, as well as the rest of the world. It is the latter aspect of definition that makes it clear that Mcdonaldization is a globalizing force. The nature of Mcdonaldization process may be delineated by outlining its five basic dimensions, which are the efficiency, calculability, predictability, control through the substitution of technology for people, and paradoxically, the rationality of rationality. The key point for our purposes is that these five principles, as well as the Mcdonaldization process by which they are part, becoming increasingly global. First, a Mcdonaldizing society emphasizes efficiency, or the effort to discover the best possible means to whatever end is desired. Workers in the fast food restaurants clearly must work efficiently. For example, burgers are assembled and sometimes even cooked in an assembly line fashion. Customers want and are expected to acquire and consume their meals efficiently. The drive-through windows is a highly efficient means for customers to obtain and employees to dole out meals. Overall, a variety of norms, rules, regulations, procedures, and structures have been put in place in the fast food restaurants in order to ensure that both employees and customers act in an efficient manner. Furthermore, the efficiency of one party helps to ensure that the other will behave in similar manner. Second, great importance is given to calculability, to an emphasis on quantity, often to detriment of quality. Various aspects of the work of employees at fast food restaurants are timed. This emphasis on speed often serves to affect adversely the quality of the work from the point of view of the employees, resulting in dissatisfaction, alienation, and high turnover rates. Similarly, customers are expected to spend a little time as possible in the fast food restaurant. In fact, the drive-through window reduces this time to zero. But if the customers desire to eat in the restaurant, the chains may be designed to feel increasingly uncomfortable in order to impel them to leave after about 20 minutes. This emphasis on speed clearly has the negative effect on the quality of the dining experience at a fast food restaurant. Furthermore, the emphasis on how the fast of the work is to be done means the customers cannot be served high quality food that almost by definition requires a good deal of time to prepare. Marginalization also involves an emphasis on predictability, meaning that things such as products, settings, employee and customer behavior, and so on are pretty much the same from one geographic setting to another and from one time to another. Employees are expected to perform their work in predictable manner, and for their part, customers are expected to respond with similarly predictable behavior. Thus, when customers enter, employees ask following scripts what they wish to order. For their part, customers are expected to know what they want or where to look for to find what they want, and they are expected to order, pay, and leave quickly. Employees following another script are expected to thank them when they do leave. A highly predictable ritual is played out in the fast food restaurant, one that involves highly predictable foods that vary little from one time to or place to another. In addition, great control exists in the McDonald's system, and a good deal of that control comes from technologies. Although these technologies currently dominate employees, increasingly they will be replacing them. Employees are clearly controlled by such technologies as French fry machines that ring when the fries are done and even automatically lift the fries out of the hot oil. For their part, Customers are controlled both by the employees who are constrained by such technologies as well as more directly by the technologies themselves. Thus, the automatic frying machines makes it impossible for a customer to request well done or even well browned fries. Finally, both employees and customers suffer from the irrationality of rationality that seem inevitably to accompany Mcdonaldization. That is, paradoxically, rationality seems often to lead to its exact opposite, irrationality. For example, the efficiency of the fast food restaurant is often replaced by the efficiencies associated with long lines of people at the counters or long lines of cars in the drive-through window. Another of the irrationalities of rationality is dehumanization. Employees are forced to work in dehumanizing jobs, and customers are forced to eat in dehumanizing settings like in the cars and circumstances on the move. The fast food restaurant can be a source of degradation for employees and customers alike. The most important rationality of rationality, at least from the point of view of globalization, is that Mcdonaldization is a force of increasing global homogeneity. This is because fast food restaurants and many other businesses and organizations throughout the world are based on the same fundamental principles: efficiency, predictability, calculability, and control. This serves to give them a high degree of structural similarity even though they may sell very different things, even foods that are quite local in nature. They are also similar in the sense that they all tend to spawn various irrationalities of rationality. Thus, the marginalization thesis describes a process of increasing global homogenization, but it is critical of the process for helping to reduce global differences and to produce a rather depressing sameness throughout the Marginalization as a theory of globalization certainly emphasizes convergence, but it does not argue that everything throughout the world is growing increasingly homogeneous. Overall, we do see the global proliferation of systems that operate on the basis of the basis principles of marginalization. However, while that represents some degree of convergence, there is considerable variation around the world in terms of the degree to which and the way in which marginalized systems operate efficiently, predictably, and so on. Further, marginalized systems often provoke resistance, and this helps to lead to continued or even greater differences in many parts of the world. Interestingly, most of the debate over marginalization and globalization has focused on the wrong issue. In the main, it has focused on the end products, arguing against convergence because the products differ, at least to some degree, from one geographic locale to another. However, marginalization is not about end products like Big Macs, but rather about the system and its principles. That system has been globalized and in many different domains, but it operates at least slightly differently from sector to sector and in different parts of the world. There is convergence and it does not result in uniformity and homogeneity.